Well, congratulations. Now that we got a home under contract, what next? Well, you are now probably, we've got the house under contract. Now we're in what we call our option period, or the beginning period of that contract. Now is we need to go ahead and get the home inspected. I highly recommend any home you purchase, whether it's brand new or not, or old, whatever, get the home inspected. So, when we first were walking through the house, one of the roles that a real estate agent plays is they're looking for issues, concerns, defects, and so forth. But a real estate agent's not a professional home inspector, so they don't go to the level that an inspector will. But, we would have already reviewed the seller's disclosure. We've already kind of walked the property, so we see if there's structural issues that we're concerned about. The mechanicals, we looked at kind of the mechanicals is the AC, what's the age of the AC unit, the water heaters, so forth like that. One of the things that I always look at is if I can find out is who built the home, because believe it or not, there is some builders that aren't worth a crap and there's some really good builders. So I like to understand what that is. But we really need to get the home inspected. Now, if you have a home inspector, then I highly recommend you use a home inspector. I've got, obviously, in my years of working in real estate, I've developed a knowledge of various inspectors out there. But what inspections should you get? Well, number one, you're going to want to get a general home inspection. Each inspector offers different services. If a home has a pool, do you want to get the pool inspected? If the foundation's questionable, do you want to have the foundation inspected? The roof is old. According to the seller's disclosure, it's 20 years old, and you know that there's been 5 hailstorms in the last 20 years. So, there's a chance you might want to get the roof inspected. Do you need to get a plumber out there to look at the water heater? You've got rust spots on the water heater. You need to get those evaluated. So those are some of the things that the inspections that you have available to you. And now when you get a home inspector is going to look at all those things, but they're not as expert as say an HVAC technician is on the air conditioning system, or they're not a certified plumber, so he may not understand the depths of what a plumber does. So what I typically tell my buyers is let's get a general home inspection. If you do feel that there's foundation issues, some of the inspectors will measure the foundation for you, or you can get a foundation company or a structural engineer out there to test and measure that foundation. But once you get the home inspection back, we're going to look at his report, and he's going to walk us through that report. And then we're going to see, what is defined as a defect. Understand the inspector has got to inspect that property as if it was built today, based on today's building codes. Well, a home that was built 30 years ago was built to a different set of standards or codes than what the homes are today. So the home may not match or meet up to what the current requirements are. Well, you know what? It is what it is. You're not buying a brand new home. You can't expect a seller to constantly keep bringing his house up to code. It's just not feasible. So once you understand what inspections you get the report back. Based on the inspector's report, we're going to have an idea. Oh, he's calling out the roof. He's thinking that the roof may be questionable. We need to go ahead and get a roofer out there. Stuff like that. So he's going to help us understand what additional inspections we need. The next thing is, we got to understand what is a true defect. Now, I typically tell people what you're looking for is things that are broken or not functioning or not functioning well. An HVAC could be running, but it's just not cooling as well as it should be. A light does not engage a light bulb. Well, it could be as simple as a light bulb burnout, but we want to make sure of those are things. And then the other thing I'm looking for is things that create a hazard. There's an open junction box in the attic with exposed wires. Well, that could potentially create a hazard, a spark, or a health hazard if you go up there and accidentally touch on those. So those are the things that I would want to get covered. Things that are broken, not functioning well, and then things that create a hazard. Those are the things that I would be looking for. Now, a loose plug, yeah, those may show up on the inspection report, but is that critical to the deal? No, that's just general homeowner maintenance, caulking on the windows, that'll get called out. So you just got to understand what's a defect and what really isn't a defect, and just homeowner neglect. And that's what a real estate agent would help you do. The next section is negotiating repairs. So again, the real estate agent will put an amendment to the contract together and highlight the items that you and the realtor have discussed that you want to be resolved. Now, there's a couple ways we can go about this amendment. We can just get a list of all the repairs, say, Mr. Seller, please have these resolved, have these fixed. The other thing you could do is, we're looking at this is about $2,000 worth of stuff that needs to be fixed. Mr. Seller, why don't you give me a concession towards my closing or off the price of the house, and I will then fix those once I own the house and in the property. Or you can do a combination thereof. So that goes together in the repair amendment. Then basically we negotiate back and forth. The seller says, yeah, I'll do that, but not this. Then it's up to the buyer to determine if that's acceptable. Then once both parties come to an agreement on what those repairs are, they'll sign off on that repair amendment, and basically now you're one step closer to closing on this house. If you can't come to an agreement and it really is something that the buyer absolutely wants resolved, the buyer's really only option is then to terminate the contract and walk away. The seller can say no, but he can't terminate the contract. Only a buyer can terminate, unless, of course, the buyer's in default and the seller can back out. But typically, we don't let a buyer get into default. So the other thing that you want to think about is if you're getting a home warranty, there's some issues, and there's issues. Some of those issues may be covered under your home warranty. So keep that in mind too. So today's thing was really about repairs or negotiating the amendment and getting inspections. Hopefully you found this very informative. The next topic is kind of we're getting close to the end. The finish line is up ahead. We can see it. We've bought the house. We found the house. We bought the house. We inspected the house. Now we got to get to the closing process. That's where a lender gets back involved up front, and the title company gets involved, and we get to the closing date. Good luck.